In ancient times, there was a family in a village in Kenya known as the Juma family. The family consisted of 4 people: Juma, who was the father, his wife, and their 2 children. In that village, the Juma family was among the poorest families, struggling even to put food on the table. Mr. Juma was employed as a livestock herder for a wealthy individual. Due to his occupation, the villagers looked down on his family. They were often ridiculed, and people would openly discuss them, especially when they met Mr. Juma's wife and children, who were afraid to walk in the streets because they knew that others were talking about them in their tattered clothing. Because of their impoverished situation, the Juma family often had to ask their neighbors for food, and while some were kind and provided them with meals, others mocked and insulted them. Mr. Juma became weary of his situation, feeling that God had forsaken him because things kept getting worse day by day. He considered becoming a thief, but feared being killed. He thought about consulting traditional healers, but felt it would be against his faith. No matter what he considered, it all seemed grim. However, in a moment of calm reflection, he decided to pray to God, saying, "Oh God, you gave me this family, and I also ask that you provide us with food and decent clothing." The next morning, as Mr. Juma headed to work, he found himself among the dense forest, as was often the case in his job of herding livestock. The forest was home to many dangerous animals, but he had no fear because he had been a resident of the forest for many years. As time passed, the sun's intensity increased, and Mr. Juma sought shelter from the scorching heat. He sat beneath a tree and after a while drifted off to sleep. Upon waking up, he realized that the livestock he was responsible for had wandered off, and he had to find them. As he searched, he heard a goat's bleating and assumed it was the one he was looking for. He followed the sound, but found himself in unfamiliar surroundings he had never encountered before in the forest. He came across a small fissure in the ground where water had collected. To his surprise, he saw a stone that looked different from the others. The stone resembled a precious gem. He hesitated but decided to pick it up and put it in his water-carrying sack. As he continued his journey and finally found the livestock, he returned home earlier than usual. His employer noticed and asked why. Mr. Juma claimed he was feeling unwell and needed to rest. Once at home, he told his wife that he needed to travel to the city for an urgent matter. She agreed, and he set out. In the city, Mr. Juma found a shop that bought and sold precious stones. He presented the stone he had found. The buyer was astonished and warned Mr. Juma about the potential danger of carrying such a valuable gem without security. The stone's value was estimated at a staggering $500,000. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Mr. Juma thanked God for answering his prayers with tears of joy. This marked the beginning of a new chapter in Juma's life. He became wealthier than anyone in his village. This is the end of episode 1 of this story. If you want to know how Juma's life and his family's circumstances changed after gaining wealth, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss episode 2.